wasn't always a minimalist.
Yeah.
I just didn't know about it. And I guess I started to get rid of a couple things out of necessity. When you live in New York City, you kind of move every 6 months or a year. And it's tough to move, so it made things easier when I moved. I was kind of inspired by a couple books that I read about essentialism, minimalism online, and it was kind of right around the trend, I guess. Today I'm at B&H Superstore in New York. I'm doing a talk all about my recent trip to Peru. Shot a travel film, and I'm going to give a little behind the scenes. I think we're going to screen it. I'm really here just for the beer and the people. A lot of my work is online, and on Instagram and YouTube, you get to talk to people and you constantly have comments and things, but there's still a disconnect. It's really nice to do things in person sometimes. And even though it's a smaller audience than what I'm used to with the tens of thousands on YouTube or whatnot, getting to talk face to face with a couple dozen people who actually care enough to show up at a time and place, that's awesome. You know, I'm really looking forward to the Q&A. I'm looking forward to just grabbing drinks and listening, not just always talking, because I don't want to do a lecture. I feel like that's a good price for a very, very good. This, I'm from Buffalo, New York, so this is hot, spicy, goes right in there. It's intense. For me, I want to own less things, but the things that I do own, I want to be dependable, high quality, and match my aesthetic. The price of the item doesn't matter as much. So if I bought something like a Rolex, that'd probably be a bit extreme, and in my eyes not as minimalistic as I can just use the time on my phone. And a lot of minimalism has been combining multiple things into one. All my books are Audible. I can just have them on my phone, you know. Yeah. Alright, where should we go get coffee? When people think about minimalism, they just think about the amount of things in an apartment or a house. It usually starts like that, and then it grows into almost every aspect of your life. So when it comes to projects, less but better. When it came to friends and relationships, if I cut away half of them, I'd be able to focus more time and effort and realize, you know, who I actually care about and want to help out. It seeped into every aspect of my life. Probably post something like, see you at 4:30, this is the address, just to make sure everyone knows. Everything I've made videos about has kind of been covered in a different way. The only thing that makes my stuff different is my perspective. How I will shoot a video about a Peru hike is just going to be different than anyone else. So regardless of the topics as they change throughout the years, me, my personality, my bad jokes, my awkwardness is always going to be in every single video. So hopefully that's the reason why people subscribe in the first place, and I feel like I can always deliver that promise. Hiking films, yeah. My last update, that was one of the scenes I made. I was like, hiking films, why hiking films? All of a sudden, I started with weddings. I did a lot of New York City, kind of vlogging stuff, a lot of filmmaking tutorials and reviews, but now it's almost like I'm a hiking channel, which I didn't expect. But my videos always follow whatever I'm interested in. Like I was telling you earlier, if I get an apartment somewhere in the suburbs and start a garden, get ready for the gardening channel. It's going to be a garden channel. If I get a cat and a dog, get ready for some animal content. My videos are always going to follow whatever I'm interested in.
Don't fall asleep because that also looks weird. But if you do get thirsty, we have water right there. We also have I think that's what. You know what we should do? We should.
And then we're going to open it up to Q&A. You can ask anything. What makes a city a minimalist city? If you're thinking like design-wise, sure. Like Stockholm might look like Scandinavian minimalist. Is New York City a minimalist city? It's chaotic. It's the most diverse, competitive, selfish place I've ever seen, but I love it. It's very colorful and it's very live. Does it help for minimalism? I think it does, because honestly, I could not own any cooking stuff. If I'm eating out every night, I could schedule meetings with other people, hang out, and eat at the same time instead of just being alone in my apartment, which I think is cool about New York City. Compared to other cities, New York City, you can combo events. So if you go out on a Thursday or a Friday night, you usually end up at 3 or 4 different things that you didn't even see coming. Whereas if you're in California, San Francisco, Oakland, you go to one party, you go to that party, and then you go back home. When I talk to people I care about, they give me good feedback. You know, criticism from people who care about you isn't criticism, it's helpful criticism. So a lot of people say I flip-flop. I will say one thing and then the next week it'll be the opposite. So I'm never living in New York City. Oh, I'm living in New York City. So hopefully I'll find an equilibrium as far as making promises. The only things that I will plan for the future will be self-improvement. I want to have more empathy. I want to have less of an ego, do things like that. But as far as life plans and goals, I'm just always going to make videos and share about the things that I care about, and continue to travel, try to grow in that way. Being a minimalist doesn't mean I just do things alone in my room with nothing. I'm not just alone in a cell. I'm a minimalist because it allows me to focus on the things that do matter, and that's hanging out with people, connecting, getting out there, living, talking. That's fun. I think that's much easier in New York.
Prove that you're here. Just give me a little.